15th, 2025, day 41 of 1,825, where I study the subject of leadership right here on YouTube Live for 1 hour a day, and I bring you along for the journey. I'm doing this for several reasons. Number one, I want to be an incredible, amazing leader, and I learned that in order to be great at anything, you should study it for 1 hour a day for 5 years, and then you will be what they considered great if you apply what you learn. Also, I want to be consistent. I want to learn to be more consistent and add that to my character. So this is helping me do that. So that's a couple of the reasons. I also desire to lead a church of 2,000 plus leaders who impact the world for the kingdom of God. So all of these are at the forefront of my mind. So this is why I do this each and every day. I've been doing it now 41 days straight, and I'm hoping to do 1,825 days consecutively. And that requires me just to keep coming back each and every day. And I appreciate each and every person that does show up. If you haven't liked and subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to do so. On this channel, we deal with faith, we deal with leadership, we deal with becoming the person that God created you to be, fulfilling your potential, leaving a legacy. One of the things that I've learned is that life is short here. Even if you live 120 years here on this earth, it still is a very short time. And we need to make an impact on the lives of those around us and on the next generation. And here at Freedom Church Worldwide, we learn how to do that. So if you've been following along, you know that we are on our third book that we've been studying called Developing the Leader Within You 2.0 by John C. Maxwell. Amazing book that we've been into. And we're going to continue looking at that today. And we're looking at the chapter called Character. Specifically, we are on we'll start here at page 68 again. On page 68, Developing Character or Having Character. And this is a book that has impacted my life in the past. I've never read the 2.0. Have I read the, let me see. Okay, I did read the entire book, but I just read it. But this time I'm really taking time to study it. No Brain Cells. That's an interesting name. I like that one. I appreciate you coming in today and saying hello. Hope that you had an amazing day. Hopefully it continues to be amazing. Daisy and friends, thank you for stopping through today. I'm hoping that you had a great day. Hopefully it continues to be amazing. How are you? I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's it's 8:45 here on the East Coast where I'm at in the United States. Had an amazing Father's Day. Celebrated with my children and with my father. So a great day. So I appreciate you asking. Hopefully you had an amazing day as well. Sando says hi. Hi to you as well. What book is that? I'm reading, and it's probably backwards on your screen. I'm reading Developing the Leader Within You. The only reason it's backwards to you probably is because it allows me to read my comments right on my iPhone. But I'm reading Developing the Leader Within You 2.0 by John C. Maxwell. Hi, my name is Jaden. Hello, Jaden. Very nice to meet you. Hopefully you had a great day. Hopefully it continues to be amazing. I see the likes coming in. Appreciate the likes. What's it about? It's about leadership. One of the things here we do on this page is I study leadership every day because I want to be a great leader. And in order to do that, I have been taking time each and every day for 1 hour to study the subject of leadership and to talk to everyone that jumps in online. I'm doing this for 1,825 days. I'm hopefully I can do it straight. That's 5 years. So we're at the beginning. I'm on day 41. It's been interesting. I've learned a lot so far. And like I said, this book is about leadership. I study leadership every day for once a day. Appreciate all the questions. What's it about? Thanks. Everybody, I appreciate you coming through. If you have not liked and subscribed on this page, I encourage you to do it. We're on our way to 1,000 likes. I've been challenged by some of my subscribers to say, let's go for 1,000 here on this page. So if you haven't liked and subscribed, I encourage you to do so. Each and every day I come on for 60 minutes talking about studying the subject of leadership. I appreciate the subscription. And I bring you along on the journey. I read every comment that comes in too, because it's not about just studying the subject, but it's also about interacting with you each and every day. So I do appreciate the subscription, and hopefully you get something out of this as well. So I appreciate that subscription there, Jaden. And of course, if you have any questions, I talk Bible, I talk faith, I talk leadership. Anything you want to talk about, I talk about it during this time. So I appreciate each and every person that comes on and spends a little time with me during the day. If you don't mind, let me know where you're from. I'm on the East Coast of New Jersey. So let me know what state you're from, what city you're from. I appreciate knowing those different things. We've had people from Nova Scotia. Where else? Brazil. All different states, all different countries. So appreciate each and every person coming through. I'm going to jump back into my study here. Oh, what's my name? My name is Clay. My name is Clay Gunter. So I appreciate you even asking. Taking time out your day to even ask. Had a great day today. Went to church, spent time with my family, spent time with my children, most specifically, because today is Father's Day here in the States. And I celebrated this day with them as long as with my dad. ABVOOL. I do not know what that means. Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Yeah, thank you. It was a great day. And I take an hour out of my day now just to study leadership, talk with you guys. Any questions on leadership? Any questions concerning anything or comments? Throw them in the chat. I'll look at them. We'll talk about them, and we'll keep moving. And I said here we're going to start on page 68 of this book, Developing the Leader Within You 2.0 by John C. Maxwell. Hopefully you'll follow along. If not, appreciate you coming through, even for a moment, even to say hello. I do appreciate your time. And like I said, I want your life to be great. So where do you look to establish your identity? We looked at this yesterday. This was important for us. Where do you look to establish your identity? At your image, your accomplishments, your recognition, or do you get it from your internal character? And we looked at that yesterday. And we learned that we should focus on making right choices, improving ourselves, and so forth. We need to nurture ourselves from the inside out. Let's see what else. He said, I used to scoff at it when I first took a job in Boston. Let's see here. Took the job in Boston. This is John C. Maxwell speaking. See, Einstein said, referring to focus on character, I just felt like you know how we're going to win by getting guys who get on base more than other teams, and by getting pitchers who miss bats and get ground balls. Talent wins. That's what we say. Talent wins, but it's like every year I did the job, I just developed a greater appreciation for how much the human element matters and how much more you can achieve as a team when you have players who care about winning, care about each other, develop those relationships, have those conversations. It creates an environment where the sum is greater than the parts. And this is what we've learned. Many times you think if I have enough talented people around me, we'll get the job done. But you know how that is. You can have talented people around you, but if you're not focused and if everybody's not bought in, you're not going to get ahead. And he's saying this. He says you can have a lot of talented people on your team. He says, but if everyone's not bought in, if everyone isn't there to sacrifice, if everyone isn't there to help one another, you're still not going to get ahead. So it requires character. It says Epstein was hired as the Cubs president in 2011. In January 2012, he met with all of the organization's managers, coaches, trainers, and operational personnel. They spent one day talking about hitting, one day on pitching, one on defense and base running, and one on character. Those became the foundation to achieve the one goal Epstein had for the organization: win a world championship. But I like what they did. They broke it all down, and he says we had one goal That was to win the world championship. In his 5th season with a young team, Epstein was on the cusp of achieving the goal. Sports Illustrated writer Tom Verducci said the defining moment occurred during a rain delay after the 9th inning of Game 7 after the Indians came back to tie the game. The young Cubs team didn't crack. They didn't shrink. They didn't stumble. What did they do? The players called a meeting. Verducci wrote, the Cubs packed shoulder to shoulder for a players-only meeting in a small weight room behind the visiting dugout at Progressive Field. He called it a strong visual of Epstein's individual or ideals or of ideals of collaboration and character. In the top of the 10th, the Cubs scored 2 runs. It was enough to win the game with a score of 8-7. Oh, wow. The Cubs' character had carried them through when they needed it. And that's what we should all work for. Whether we're team members or leaders of a team, character always counts. That's something to always remember. Character always counts. It is the most important part of who we are, your character. What is your moral standpoint? How do you view life? Are you a liar? Are you a person who's going to tell the truth no matter what? Are you a person of integrity? All that matters. Developing the person of character within you. This is the next point. So how do you focus on developing character from the inside out? I believe the core of character boils down to 3 main things: embracing good values, practicing self-leadership, and valuing people. I need to write that down. That's my quote of the day. I see it now. Core character, or character, boils down to 3 things. Number 1, embracing good values. Number 2, practicing self-leadership. And number 3, valuing people. As I was writing this down, I was thinking about this. I'm working very hard to develop my character, but I can still tell that I'm uncomfortable with exercising my authority. And I don't exercise my authority like do what I say, but I want people not to follow me because I force them to do what I say, but because they know that they can trust me. They know that I have their best interests and that I know what I'm doing. So being competent is something that I'm working at as well, to show people that you're competent. That's very important to do. Competent, consistent, and confidence. I think those are 3 areas that I'm going to continue to work on concerning my own life and my own character. So it says we have to embrace good values. If you've never thought through your personal values and written them down, then you need to do so. You know what? I keep coming to this and I haven't done it yet. I keep thinking about the values that I want in my life, but I have not yet wrote them down. And I have to do that. I got to get that together. What are my values? You know, this like integrity. And maybe I'll start to think of those this week. What are my values? What are your values? Those are different things we have to think about, because then you learn what your boundaries. When you learn your values, you also learn your boundaries. You know the things that you will do and you will not do. For example, if you say something, we would say like you got back in the day when I was younger or when I was a kid, we would say you're a word. What would you say? My word is my bond. In other words, if I say something, I'm going to stick to it. I think that's a good one. I don't know how I would have to just figure out how I'm going to put that all down on paper. So I did start it. I'll keep working on that though. So what are your non-negotiables? What lines will you refuse to cross? What will you stand for? If you have already gone through this process, then look at what you wrote out previously and verify your list. Has anything changed? Is there anything you would add? Anything you would remove? So that's something I have to put down. I'll probably do that and put it up on my, I have a board in my room, and I have one down here in my office where I have different vision. I guess you could call it a vision board, but it's also some of the things that I aspire to be, both materially and, more importantly, internally. So I got to write these down so I can keep them up on the board as well. All right. Practice self-leadership. Here's another one. Practice self-leadership. The essence of self-leadership is doing the right thing even when you don't want to do it. Wow. Let me write that down. So self-leadership and self-discipline are synonymous, I guess you could say. The essence of self-leadership is doing the right thing even when you don't want to do it. Because when you think about self-discipline, and like I said, discipline, self-discipline is my word. I'm learning that's my word. I like this guy named, I used to watch his videos called Evan Carmichael. Evan Carmichael. He has a YouTube channel. And he would always talk about his word is believe, believe. And he would call his people the Believe Nation. And he says that's his word. It's starting to be self-discipline. Self-discipline. I'm learning, I said, of course you need to believe. I said, but if you don't have the discipline to do even what you believe, you'll still not attract or attain what it is that you desire. For example, you can believe that you can be in shape. But if you don't discipline yourself to eat right, go to the gym, and all those different things that are needed to do, that you need to do, you still will not achieve what you believe. You'll be frustrated. And I believe for me, one of the issues that I have is that I get frustrated because I know what my potential is. And I believe it's the same thing with you. You know what you're capable of. You see the person that you can be if you disciplined yourself. If you got up every day and you were focused on accomplishing your priority, focused on accomplishing what it is that you really want. And what I find is that many of us, including myself, are frustrated with our results because we have not yet disciplined ourselves. And although we know it's there, although we know it's possible, we know that we can accomplish these things if we discipline ourselves. Because we have not yet changed the habits, we have not yet disciplined ourselves long enough to change the way we think, we continue to get the results that we've been getting. And that all that does is make you feel like a failure. It makes you lose confidence in yourself. But just think what would happen to you, to your confidence, if you made a decision that I am going to get up and I'm going to go after what what's in my heart. I like to say what God put in my heart. What happened if I got up every day and I disciplined myself where my eating habits are concerned? What would happen every day if I disciplined myself in the way that I respond to people, in the way that I handle my time, the way that I handle my life? And this is why I believe that discipline, self-discipline, is a major key in us being able to accomplish that thing that we have in our heart. And you can't get self-discipline watching videos. You can't get self-discipline wishing. The only way you discipline yourself is by doing the work, getting up, doing the work day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. You just get up and you keep doing it. When it's boring, you do it. When you feel like doing it, you do it. You do it. When you don't feel like doing it, you do it. You just make a decision. I want this more than I want anything else. I like what E.T. says. If you know E.T., the hip hop preacher, he would make the quote that I believe it was Aristotle said. He says, if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you will succeed. And I'm learning that at this age in my life, at the time of this teaching, I'm 43. Am I 43? Yeah, 43 years of age. And I'm learning, I said, when you want something so much that you're willing to change anything in your life that's keeping you from going after it, you will accomplish it. It's not a cliche. It's not a cliche. It's something that happens when you make a decision that I'm burning all the bridges to my excuses. I'm burning all the bridges to my past, to my failures, and I'm going after what is in my heart. I'm learning that. So you said you have to practice self-leadership. The essence of self-leadership is doing the right thing even when you don't want to do it. And not doing the right thing, and not doing the wrong thing even when you do want to do it. I call this managing the decisions after I already made it. Wow. You must manage your decisions after you have already made it. Let me explain. When you determine your values, you've already decided what you will and will not do. Okay, let me read that again. When you determine your values, you've already decided what you will and will not do. I got to write that down too. That's a good one. When you determine your values, you've already decided what you will and will not do. All right. Then when you face a difficult moment, your job is to follow through on the decision you've made. What must you do to put yourself in better positions to manage your decisions and follow through with them? What must you do to put yourself in a better position to manage your decisions and follow through with them? For example, that's what I'm doing on here. Somebody may ask, why do you come online every day? Why are you on every day for 1 hour? Regardless of people show up, if people don't show up, you're showing up every day. It's because I've made a decision that I am going to come online for 1 hour for 1,825 days consecutively, no matter how I feel, no matter if I want to do it, if I don't want to do it. It does not matter. I'm coming online because I am going to be consistent and I'm going to accomplish my goal. This has become a priority for me. In fact, I feel like even as the day goes by, I feel that positive pressure to say, hey, you need to stop what you're doing and go study leadership. You made a commitment. You've made a decision that you want to be a competent leader. You want to be an excellent leader, that you want to be confident in the way that you lead those who follow you. What are you going to do? Are you going to make an excuse? Are you going to say you're too busy? Are you willing to say, I love my family, but this is a priority for me, so I'm going to step away from my family and my family time for a moment, even on a Sunday evening, to make sure that I do my study? Those are all decisions that I have to make. And now what I'm learning is there's other decisions, like in my health, other decisions like in the way that I handle my finances. How am I going to now be consistent in those areas so that I can progress at a greater rate? You see, once you start making a decision to be excellent in one area, you begin to recognize other areas of your life where you're relaxing, where you're not progressing, and you have become complacent. So I have made a decision like, okay, I want to be a better leader, but being a better leader starts with me. I have to lead myself first before I attempt to lead someone else. And as a result, I'm beginning to change the way I'm living, not only in the area of leadership, but in every area of my life. Because in order for me to be an excellent leader, every area of my life has to be operating in excellence. Not just one area, not just the public area or when I am out in front of people, but every area of my life. You want your life to be an open book. It's like if someone was to come and see me in an unexpectedly or unexpectedly, whatever one is right, would it still be at the same standard? Would it be at the same standard of excellence? And that's what I desire. I want every area of my life to be at a level of excellence that if other people came into my life, they could still be impacted no matter what time of the day they saw me or what I was doing. And I'm just talking, but I'm enjoying this. Value people. This is the third one. Remember, character boils down to three main things: embracing good values, practicing self-leadership, and valuing people. And this third one is value people. By placing others first, you take the focus off of yourself and therefore have a more difficult time being selfish. That builds your character. Think about something you can do every day to express value to another person, especially the people you don't have an affinity for or don't especially like. And don't forget, you can receive free bonus materials from me at maxwellleader.com. Man. All right. That is the third chapter completed. And we just talked about character, how we have to have character if we want to develop the leader within. The fourth chapter we're about to get into, but before we do, let me remind you that I'm on the journey of studying leadership for 1,825 days. I am on day 41 consecutively. We started this on May 4th, 2025, and we are now on June 15th, 2025. I wrote July down. 15th, 2025. And I've been coming on every day for 1 hour studying the subject of leadership and bringing you along for the journey. I want you to subscribe. Several things happen. You're going to learn the subject of leadership so you can make a greater impact in your life and in the lives of those around you. You're also going to help me to stay motivated, to stay committed. I know every time I show up, I'm going to have different people that I've seen and even grown a relationship with, even online, and they're going to be embracing me, encouraging me to go after this goal of being a leader, excuse me. My next goal is 1,000 subscribers. We've already passed the 100 mark. So if you could smash that subscribe button and join me on this journey of developing ourselves as leaders, would be greatly appreciated. Help this channel grow and reach more and more people. Excuse me. Let me take a little drink and we'll get back into our study. chapter number 4 of Developing the Leader Within You 2.0 by Dr. John C. Maxwell. It says the ultimate test of leadership is creating positive change. The ultimate test of leadership is creating positive change. Several years ago, I had the opportunity to play at Augusta National Golf Club as the guest of Lou Holtz. If you're a college football fan, you know about Lou, and I'm not, so I don't know much about Lou because I'm not a college football fan. He's an American icon. In 1988, he coached the Notre Dame Fighting Irish football team to an undefeated season and a national championship. One of my favorite quotes from Lou, which he said the first time I met him over lunch, is, "I've coached good players and I've coached bad players. I'm a better coach with good players." Lou is also known for his dry wit. I spent 3 unforgettable days with Lou at Augusta. During the day, he enjoyed playing golf on one of the world's best courses, and Lou kept us in stitches. Lou was the first off the tee that first day. He teed up his ball, hit it, and immediately started walking toward the hole. What's he doing? I thought to myself. I turned to Harvey McKay, Lou's good friend, who was playing with us, and said, "Lou didn't wait for the rest of us to hit? He never does," replied Harvey. "He can't stand still." It was true. All 3 days, Lou would hit off the tee and start walking. Needless to say, many times we would yell "four" as our balls flew toward Lou. He would just cover the back of his head with his arms and keep on walking. I've never seen anything like it. If we were playing too slowly for Lou, he would say, "Hey, try to keep up with the group behind you." If one of us was talking too much, was taking too much time lining up a putt, Lou would say, "Put before I die, will you?" Next point is coaching change. I'll never forget those rounds of golf, but my favorite times at Augusta were when we were sitting in the cabin late at night and talking to Lou about his coaching career. From 1969 to 2004, Lou coached at 6 different universities. Wow. None of the teams were winners when he took over. Arkansas had the best record of the 6, 5-1. All the others had lost most of their games. 2 teams had records of 1-10. What's remarkable is that by his second year of coaching every team, not only did they have a winning record, but every team was invited to play in a college bowl game. That's an amazing accomplishment. Leading a team to that kind of success once or twice is a major feat, but 6 times? I listened with interest as our cabin conversations centered around making the changes necessary to turn a losing football team into a winning one in such a short time. Lou Holtz is a leader who understands how to create positive change. He's what I'd like to call a U-turn leader. He's what I'd like to call a U-turn leader. This is interesting. A person who is able to make an organization or take an organization that is headed downward, stop the negative momentum, change the direction it's heading, and turn it upward, creating positive momentum. Wow, that's good. I like that. A U-turn leader. Let me write this down. Page 72. A person. I guess we can all do that in our own lives. Be a U-turn leader. You can see yourself going in a negative way and turn it around. So that's See, this is what I like about this book. It's because not only can you apply it to your team, you can apply it to yourself. A U-turn leader is a person who is able to take an organization that is heading downward stop the negative momentum change direction and turn it upward. Wow, that's good. Creating positive momentum. All right, let's continue. George Kelly, a career coach who worked with Holtz at Notre Dame, said Lue had 3 qualities all coaches possess. Yeah, 3 qualities all great coaches possess. He didn't take anything for granted. He was an excellent teacher, and he was superbly organized. Wow. I'm getting a lot already out of this chapter. Don't take anything for granted. Tip number 1. Number 2, be an excellent teacher. And then number 3, be superbly. I don't, that's a word you don't hear all the time. Superbly. Man, I am superbly organized. Let me write that down. All right. On top of that, let me write the number 4. Lue was a positive visionary. Be a positive visionary. He changed the cultures of the teams he led that created the team's success. Being able to turn an organization around by being a positive change agent is the true test of a great leader. Nearly anyone can get out in front of people who are already going in the right direction and encourage them to keep on going. Very few can make the changes necessary to turn around a group of people who are headed the wrong direction. Wow. Leading change can be difficult. That's what it says now. Leading change can be difficult. Any person who has led change knows it's challenging. But I believe that people do not naturally resist change. They resist being changed. Oh, let me read that again. I believe that people do not naturally resist change. They resist being changed. Wow. Recently, I saw a 2-frame cartoon in which the leader asked, "Who wants change?" And everyone raised their hand. But in the second frame, he then asked, "Who wants to change?" No one raised their hands. Wow. That pretty much characterizes human nature. We want the benefits of positive change without the pain of making any change ourselves. Wow. We want the benefit of positive change without the pain of making any changes ourselves. Why is that? I believe there are several reasons. Number one, what's the number one reason? People feel awkward and self conscious doing something new. Change is awkward. Just ask your hands. Don't believe me? Try this. Clasp your hands together, palm it to palm, with your fingers interlaced. Which is on top? Everyone naturally favors putting one thumb over the other and alternating their fingers accordingly. Is your right thumb on top of your left thumb? Whichever way you clasp your hands feels natural. You naturally do it the same way every time. Let me see. Yep, absolutely. I do it the same way every time. Now switch them. Unclasp your hands and interlace your fingers again. But this time, put the other thumb on top. How does it feel? Awkward. Yeah, it does feel awkward. If you're like most people, you'll feel a strong impulse to switch them back to your regular way. Absolutely. I had a similar problem with my golf game. When I graduated from high school, I received a set of golf clubs as a gift. I welcomed the opportunity to try out a new sport. So I just started playing golf without any kind of coaching. I was a reasonably good athlete, so I was able to get out on the course and play. But I never could improve my game no matter what I tried. When I finally took golf lessons from a pro, he told me my self-taught grip and swing were the things holding me back. His solution was to ask me to change everything. Wow. Operate like a pro. Be willing to change everything. I just wrote down, if you want to operate like a pro, be willing to change everything. Boy, did that feel awkward. I knew I needed to make the changes, but none of them felt right. Over the next few months, anytime I was under pressure to make a good shot, I found myself returning to the security of my old grip because I felt more comfortable with my old way of playing, even though the new way afforded me the opportunity for great improvement. Over time, I became comfortable with the change, but it took a while. Listen to this. This is such an important point, but it's such an important life life principle, life realization. Over the next few months, anytime I was under pressure to make a good shot, I found myself returning to the security of my old grip because I felt more comfortable with my old way of playing, even though the new way afforded me the opportunity for great improvements. This is so me. Wow. Because sometimes you'll get advice, and that advice makes you uncomfortable. And you'll try it, and me personally, I'll try it for a little while, but then eventually I go back to my old habits, my old way of thinking, because that was my comfort zone. And I'm loving what he's saying here, because it's opening my eyes. He's saying you can try playing like you were playing before, but you're going to keep getting the same results. You'll never excel. He said, listen, he says, I could never improve my game no matter what I tried. When I finally took golf lessons from a pro, he told me my self-taught grip and swing were the things holding me back. What are the self-taught things that are holding me back? What are the self-taught things that are holding you back? And then when you get taught by a pro that you need to do things separate or differently, when you're taught by someone who knows more than you, has more expertise than you, that you need to do things differently, what do? Do you listen to them, or do you continue doing the same thing you've been doing, getting the same results and still frustrated? Wow. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to do so. Every day I come on for an hour and I talk leadership with you. And I'm doing this for 1,825 days, and I am on day number 41. Day number 41, and I'm bringing you along on the journey. So I'm asking you to subscribe, not only because it helps our channel to grow, but because you are going to learn leadership tips that are going to allow you to have greater impact no matter where you are in life. You're going to be have a better impact in your home, in your family, and on your job and in your career because you learn how to lead. And we're studying our third book here on day 41, and we're talking about or studying from John Maxwell's book, Developing the Leader Within You 2.0. Also, each and every day I come on at different times, so this is why I encourage you to set the notification bell so you can be a part of these conversations and this study time. All right. That right there is a life-changing realization. It says most people are more comfortable with old problems than new solutions because the new represents the unknown. Author and speaker Marilyn Ferguson put it this way: it's not so much that we are afraid of change or so in love with our old ways, but it's the place in between that we fear. It's like being between trapezes. It's Linus when his blanket is in the dryer. There's nothing to hold on to. Wow. Okay, so the second reason why people desire not to change or choose not to change is because people initially focus on what they will have to give up. People initially focus on what they will have to give up. When people hear that change is coming, the first thing they do is ask, how is it going to affect me? Why? Because they are worried that they will have to give up something. Sometimes the question makes a lot of sense, such as when you are in danger of losing your job or your home. Okay, sometimes the questions make a lot of sense, such as when you are in danger of losing your job or your home. But most of the time, life is a series of trades anyway. Poet Ralph Waldo Emerson said, for everything you gain, you lose something. So it's unrealistic to expect not to give up anything. However, many people are holding on so tightly to what they have that they are willing to forgo anything, willing to forgo gaining anything, even progress. Let me read that again. Many people are holding on so tightly to what they have that they are willing to forgo gaining anything, even progress. As leaders, we need to help people overcome this attitude. I think personality type and life experience impact people's attitudes in this area. For example, some people are savers while others are throwers. I'm a thrower. As soon as I think I don't need something, I toss it in the trash. I don't think there's been a day in my adult life that I haven't had to dig around in the trash can for a piece of paper I threw away before I was actually done with it. Throwing things away gives me great joy. It's just one of my quirks. Wow. Let me get another drink here. Most people are more like my wife, Margaret. She's a savior. She's a saver. If she thinks we might use something in the future, she sees no reason to get rid of it. I'll say this, she's not a hoarder, and she's very organized, so our home isn't cluttered. But if I had my way, our motto would be, if we buy something new today, give something else away. Not only do we want to hold on to things, we also tend to hold on to ideas and ways of doing things. Authors Eric Harvey and Steve Ventura have written about this human tendency. The fact is, we all carry a certain amount of counterproductive cerebral. Let me read that again. The fact is, we all carry a certain amount of counterproductive cerebral baggage that weighs us down and holds us back. Excuse me. Our loads include everything from once valid beliefs and practices that have outlined their usefulness and applicability, to misfortune and misconceptions that we've accepted and even embraced without much examination or thought. Why carry about baggage? Because it negatively impacts us, the people we work with. Excuse me, I'll say why carry. I can tell I'm getting a little sleepy here. Why care about baggage? Because it negatively impacts us, the people we work with, the environment we work in, and the results we get. Simply stated, whatever we accept and believe determines how we behave. Wow. Whatever we accept and believe determines how we behave. And how we behave determines what we achieve and don't achieve. Their solution: our brains are like closets. They say, over time, they are filled with things we no longer use, things that don't fit. Every once in a while, they need to be cleaned out. Peter Drucker, who has been called the founder of modern management, said that he believed businesses needed to put every product and process they have on trial for their lives every 3 years. Otherwise, he believed the competition would pass the business by. Bill Gates had a similar perspective. He recognized that the products Microsoft made would become obsolete in 3 years. The only question, Gates said, is whether we will make it obsolete or someone else will. I'd say he understands the price of change and is willing to pay it as a leader. The third reason people are afraid to change is because people are afraid of being ridiculed. People who do something different always run the risk of being mocked or ridiculed, and that can be a great deterrent to change. Author Malcolm Gladwell recently did a podcast on this subject that looked at Hall of Fame basketball player Wilt Chamberlain. It's called The Big Man Can't Shoot. Chamberlain, who played professionally from 1959 to 1973, was a dominating center who set multiple NBA records, but he was also known for being a notoriously bad free throw shooter. His career average was 51%. Wow, that's really bad. But in 1961-1962 season, Chamberlain tried changing something in his game to improve his free throw shooting. Instead of doing the traditional overhead shot that nearly all basketball players currently use, Chamberlain tried using the style employed by Rick Barry, who at the time was the game's best free throw shooter. Chamberlain used the granny shot, where he held the ball between his legs and shot it underhand. Rick Barry's career free throw percentage was over 89%. In the podcast with Gladwell, Barry explained why he decided to use that motion to shoot free throws his entire career. Wow. Okay, let's see. From the physics standpoint, it's a much better way to shoot. Less things can go wrong, less things that you have to worry about repeating over in order for it to be successful. But the other thing is, who walks around like this, raising his hands up in front of him? This is not a natural position. When I shoot underhand in free throws, where are my arms? Hanging straight down the way they are normally. And so I'm totally and completely relaxed. It's not in the situation where I have to worry about my muscles getting tense or tight. And then the shot itself is a much softer shot. So many of my shots, even if they're a little off, will hit so nice and soft that they'll still fall in the basket. While experimenting with Barry's underhand shooting method for free throws on March 2nd, 1962, Chamberlain did something no one had ever done before and no one has ever done since. He scored 100 points in an NBA game. That night, 28 of those points came from free throws. He made 28 of 30 from the line. Despite his success, Chamberlain gave up the granny shot and went back to his old way of shooting and his old habit of missing. Wow. Why? He was embarrassed by it. Ain't that something? He was successful but embarrassed by it because it was unconventional. Gladwell quotes that what Chamberlain wrote in his autobiography. I felt silly, like a sissy, shooting underhanded. I know I was wrong. I know some of the best foul shooters in history shot that way. Even now, the best one in the NBA, Rick Barry, shoots underhanded. I just couldn't do it. Some people are more easily embarrassed than others. While Rick Barry didn't care what people thought of him and shot free throws in a style others mocked, Wilt Chamberlain cared what others thought and didn't want to be ridiculed. As a leader, when you introduce changes, you have to take this kind of fear into account. And you have to be aware that people have different levels of tolerance to ridicule. All right, let's stop there. That's a good one. As many of you know, the last minute of this live, I spend praying over every person that has watched today. If you are watching now and you don't want to be a part of this, I understand everyone doesn't value or view things the way that I do, but I will be praying for every person that has watched this podcast today. Father, I thank you for every person that watched today. Father, I thank you for the call on their life. I thank you that they are full of potential. Father, that you have given them intelligence, you have given them talents, Father, that they can develop into a skill that will cause not only their life to be impacted, but will allow them to influence the lives of many others. Father, I thank you that you have given them gifts, given them strength. Father, I ask you to surround them with the right people and be wise enough to remove themselves from people who are not worth being around. I ask you in Jesus' name, Amen. Well, until tomorrow, keep walking by faith. I'll see you then.